Let me tell you how it will be.
Welcome back to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. It's hard to believe, but this year's already halfway over. We're in the last month of the first half, and I'm here with Bob Loeser. You know that music. And Taxman Bob, as we affectionately call him here on The Price of Business. And you know what they say, when you're young, the days are short and the years are long. And when you're old, the years are short. And I'm sorry, yeah, the years are short and the days are long. But, you know, for me, it seems like they're both kind of short.
And one of the first things that goes is your memory, too.
That's exactly right. I almost forgot that old story. I mean, that old tale. But I tell you, it's pretty amazing if you think about it.
We are 5 months and a few days into 2015. Where has it all gone?
I don't know. It's pretty bizarre. But tell me about what you've got going on as Taxman Bob. What are you watching out there?
Well, first off, as a side joke, I want to congratulate my daughter, who's going to be graduating from Clements High School on Saturday, the second of two kids that are going to be out of the house and into college.
Woohoo!
She's off to Ole Miss, so congratulations. On a business front, we are looking for stability in our clients and their businesses this year.
Okay.
As to making sure that things are consistent with last year, and if they're not, whether it's up or down, why? Mm-hmm. You know, have they lost a customer? Have they gained a customer? Have they gained sales? But in the same token, their costs to operate are higher, so their margins are down.
Yeah.
All right, because doing more business and netting less money is not what a business wants. I mean, if you had a choice of doing $1 million and netting $100,000, or doing $500,000 and netting $100,000, I'd rather do the $500,000. You have less exposure to liability.
Yeah, I think that makes perfect sense. No question about it. So you're really always have been, but you're really kind of proactively positioning yourself as the trusted advisor and not merely the money guy. Correct.
And it doesn't necessarily always entail how much money do you have in the bank. Mm-hmm. It's sometimes, well, you only have $45,000 in the bank compared to $100,000, but you just went out and bought new computers for the office or a telephone system or whatever the case may be, or moved your offices to a bigger location or whatever. So all these things are important in evaluating, you know, where were we last year, where are we now, and where are we going before year end. And, you know, oil and gas prices in particular have affected a lot of businesses. I've got two of them in particular that, you know, that business revenues are down, 25%. Mm-hmm. But fortunately, they've got a big enough cushion, and they saw the handwriting on the wall that they're not panicking. They're just waiting for the lull to pass them by and move forward. But several of their customers have either gone out of business or aren't, they're in construction related, and they're not building as much now because oil and gas prices are down, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Sure. I see a lot of cranes out there that are no longer moving.
Right.
So good news is that good news only in Houston, right? But I noticed that it's gone up like $20 a barrel over the last 60 days again. It's still nowhere to $3 plus that everyone's missing.
Right.
But I guess it's getting a little bit of its legs back.
Yeah, and I think as long as I heard someone over the last week say, as long as it doesn't get over 65, then on the other side of the coin, businesses that have a heavy dose of diesel fuel use or fuel use in general aren't going to be affected, like people that have takeout services and drivers and truckers, etc. If the price goes up over 65, it starts losing its edge. But we've gone from 40-something to, I think yesterday it closed over 60. So if it stays between 60 and 65, I think we're happy. No, it's not 100, but we're also not paying $4.50 a gallon at the pumps.
Yeah.
So there's a trade-off.
Yeah, I guess life's full of that, right?
Yep.
Quicker we learn that, the more easier life becomes. So tell me, as far as there's always deadlines and benchmarks as far as what's happening on the tax front. What are people thinking about right now or should be?
Well, I mean, a couple things. We've gone through all the majors. April 15th for personal returns, corporate returns March 15th, which they personally are extended until October. The corporates are extended until September. The franchise returns for the state of Texas were due on May 15th. They were extended, if need be, until November 15th, but you do have to pay the bill, otherwise you'll owe some penalty and interest. In addition, you have things like Harris County Appraisal District that wants their business professional assets listed. And you originally had an April 15th filing. You extended it for 30 days to May 15th, and then the last due date was this past week, Monday, June 1st. If you didn't file for whatever reason, it's a 10% penalty on the total tax that you pay for the year. So if your tax is $3,000, it's a $300 penalty for not filing.
Yeah.
So if you didn't this year, I'd recommend that you get your act in order and do it next year, because there's $300. I mean, if you're going to waste $300, write the check to Robert A. Loeser and Associates and send it to. But serious, that's what I tell a lot of times. Oh, I didn't have time to get it to you. Well, then I'll just jack my bill up $200 because it doesn't seem to bother you.
Yeah, you got so much money you can,
to burn a home.
Exchange running around.
Right. But you also have to worry, and this is where I don't think a lot of the public is being told, that certainly when Target's security was breached, the government was all over it, like flies on you-know-what. Well, the U.S. government and the IRS has also, their computer systems have been, I won't use the term tampered with, but breached. We have right now 10 clients that, as we prepared their return before April 15th and went to file them, the IRS notified them that someone else filed a dummy return in their name. Now you say, how can that be done? How do they get my Social Security number? Well, first off, the IRS has your Social Security number, the full, 9 digits.
Yeah.
Okay. Second, if you decide to file e-file, that's one more thing that has easy access to the system and circumvents you and I from having to sign the return and know when we signed it and sent it in. And 3, when you have a direct deposit made, okay, here's what happens. You're married to Jane, but this year somebody files a dummy return and puts you married to Mary. Mary walks into a bank in Atlanta, Georgia, not really her name, befriends a teller and says, "Hi, we're opening up an account. I'm having my tax refund, directly deposited in the account. When it is, I'd like to draw it out and pay off something." Okay, fine. All right. Well, the teller's also in on the scheme, and result is, because they file a return, they dummy up a W-2 for your dummy-up wife, who made $80,000 and had $30,000 withheld from a job at IBM that she never had. All right. IRS pays the $22,000 refund. You e-filed, so you don't know the tax return has been filed until you do something with the government. Money goes into that bank account in Atlanta. You're here in Houston, so you still don't know anything that's going on. All right. Mary walks in, asks for her $22,000, gives the teller $500 cash under the table for helping her, and disappears into the night. And we have had 10 people so far. And if it's happened to us on that basis, you go out. I mean, we had
Wait a minute, you've had that happen to 10
clients?
Wow.
Okay, where we already have a return for you here, or we already gave you your refund, or why are you giving us this extension? You filed your return back on the 15th of March. Okay,
it's incredible. And boy, you talk about
has it been in the press?
Not hardly at all.
Okay.
Virtually,
okay.
Obviously not much at all.
Okay, the president and Congress bouncing up and down, going, "What's going on with the IRS?" Heck, no.
No.
Point that finger, but point it at yourself.
Boy, you talk about gutsy, though. Criminals willing to do that to the IRS.
And the only thing now they're doing is, which I understand, I've got a client that had to make a $300,000 payment on April 15th for extension because he sold one of his businesses late last year. We paid the amount. A couple weeks later, we got it back. He said, "What do you want us to do with this? You filed your return on March 1st. We didn't file a return on March 1st. Now, it's his money. He's not going to lose that $300,000.
Right.
But it just, so now what they've been doing, but they've been doing it with fraud in the past, but on a much lower basis, is using what they call a private PTIN number, private identification number. So besides Kevin Price filing a tax return, you now file a tax return and have a 5-digit number that you input in lower page 2, and that number is specifically for you. If anybody else tries to use the return filing, it'll kick it right back out and go to the fraud department.
We didn't even get to talk about politics. We'll have to do that next time. But always delighted to have Bob Loeser on the program. Taxman Bob, we officially refer to him here on The Price of Business. Taxman Bob at pdq.net. Your number?
713-953-1272.
One more time.
713-953-1272.
Backwards. No. Okay. When we come back, much more for you right here on The Price of Business.
'Cause I'm the tax man. be.